KD0WTE testing. This is KD0WTE. My name is Michael, and I am net control for this Sunday evening new ham net. This net is on every Sunday evening on this repeater, 146.745, from 6 to 7 p.m., which is authorized by the Cedar Valley Amateur Radio Club. Just as an FYI, this repeater does not require any PL tone. The purpose of this net is to introduce new hams to amateur radio. It gives them the opportunity to become familiar talking on their radio, learning their new call sign, and learning how to copy call letters of others. Over the past few years, this net has become a learning net and a refresher course for all hams. Any ham, no matter their license status, are welcome to the net to help answer our questions and give us helpful hints that we can use in our new hobby. It is also to be noted that should this repeater go down during the net, you have been authorized to transfer to the W0HUP repeater on a frequency of 145.15, requiring a 19 or 2.8 Hz PL. With that being said, will our first check-ins please come now with their call sign and name. This is KD0WTE Net Control.
This is KU0GIE.
Alright, thank you very much, gentlemen. And the first station, I believe I copied as Kilo Echo Zero Golf India Echo. Is that correct? And go ahead.
Yes, this is KU0GIE. This is Alan. My first week with my license.
Well, congratulations and welcome aboard. Glad to hear you on. Are you on your HT?
Yes, I'm actually right now researching getting a little more powerful unit for my truck. I've got it down to 2 units for my truck, but not sure which one to go for yet.
Well, Alan, if you want any tips or advice or things to look out for when buying a new radio, you can sure ask us here on the new Hamnet. Somebody will chime in with some good information, I would assume.
Well, if anybody's got any input on the FT2900 versus the 8800, I'd be curious from this. I keep going back and forth between the two of those.
Alright, is there anyone on frequency that has experience with the 2 radios that Alan mentioned? If so, give us a call and you can go direct to Alan.
This is KA0IEF. Name here is Al. Hi, Alan. band radio, which is only 2 meters.
Yep, and that was KE0GIE. That was one of the considerations I was looking at. The 2900 is single band, but it looks like it puts out a little more power. How much functionality do you get on that crossband on there?
Well, I've used the actual crossband repeater function very little on this one. It does work, and for the type of communications that we do around here, this radio does just fine. In fact, right now, I'm down here not too far away from Coe College. I'm only running 5 watts to my antenna up on the top of the truck. Most of the time here in town, I can run 5 watts and not have any problems with connectivity to the repeaters. If you're going to go simplex, you may want to bump it up to 25 to 45 watts or whatever the maximum power is for whatever band you're on.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Okay, Alan. Yeah. One of the things you'll find out if you ask opinions on radios is however many people are listening is how many opinions you get. So it's kind of a fun thing to weed through all the stuff and figure out what you want. KE0GIE, Alan. This is KA0IES.
All right, thank you very much, Al, for jumping in there. And I agree, Alan. Everybody on the radio has a different take on their radios, and many have good scenarios and bad scenarios that they can tell you about. All right, Alan, I'll turn it back to you, KE0GIE.
Yeah, like I said, I'm still pretty new to ham radio. I made contact last week with some people out in Minneapolis while I was out there, but still just trying to get my my rigs and everything set up.
Well, I bet you are excited. Do you have any plans to upgrade in the future to general class or higher?
Yes, my father-in-law has actually got his general class, and he's pretty adamant about it, have a lot of fun with that. What I'd like to build a Go Box radio, and I've been looking at some equipment for that once I do get my general class license, something with like a self-contained battery inside of it.
Very good. Sounds like you're jumping in with both feet, and I know several people that would be able to give you tips on that as well. So very good. Sounds like you got a good thing going for you, Alan.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because my wife is actually the one who sort of got me started into it a little bit. She's got a little bit of an interest in prepping as sort of a hobby. She told me, you should go get your license in case communications go down. So I'm like, all right, I'll get started on that. And as an accountant, you get kind of stuck in numbers, and once in a while it's nice to have something with a little bit of technicality to look at and play around with. KE0GIE.
Well, that's an unusual scenario, but very interesting. All right, Alan. Well, thanks a lot. And since you're new to the new Hamnet, what we do is we take a round of check-ins, and once we get to about 6:45, we come back around and do a 73 round and run through all the check-ins again. So you'll get a chance to comment further if another topic arises. All right, well, I'll turn it back to you, Alan, and if you have anything more to say at the moment, then you can turn it back to net control, and we will grab Tim.
Nope, KE0GIE, clear and monitoring.
All right, Alan, well, thank you very much. And now we'll go down to Tim, N0CKR. Good evening, Tim. This is KD0WT with Sunday Evening New Hamnet. right, Tim, thank you very much. And I have that down as November 16th. And the contact for that is N0CKR, November 0, Charlie Kilo Romeo at ARRL.net. Thanks a lot, Tim. And now, let's see, I need some more check-ins. Please check in with your call sign and your name. Oh, pardon me. Go ahead, Tim.
Sorry about that. I just was there for support.
All right. I have the correction made on my paper. Tim, I'll turn it back to you so you can clear with net control.
All right, I'm round 73, round 0 KR.
Many thanks, Tim. All right, now we will stand by for some more check-ins.
Well, I don't know if I should check in now or not, since I was mobile before, but I'm at home. This is KA0IF on yet another radio.
All right, Al. Well, good evening once again. And operating Mobile as a check-in is a lot different from operating Mobile as net control. And I got that experience last weekend by accident. But go ahead, Al. You have the floor.
Oh, not much more going on here. Just checking in, want to listen around, see what's going on. For KE0GIE, Alan, this radio is a Yaesu 7900. It's one channel at a time, or one band at a time, but it will operate on both bands, 2 meters and 70 centimeters. It's 45 watts for high power on 2 meters, and I think it's 35 watts on UHF. But it's a good little radio, and it's what I use here at the house. And on the third Sunday of the month, when the Aries net is running, this is the radio that I use to run the net. So it holds up pretty good. Again, I'm only using 5 watts from here at the house because I've got a reasonable antenna and a good path to the repeater. So back to the net, this is KA0IEF. Info.
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, it was feeling kind of loud. I believe Al said that was a 7900.
Yes, I believe that was correct. Al, please correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm sorry, I've doubled with net control. Yes, this is a FT7900. Yeah, I believe that radio will do 1.2 meters as well. Well, now I'm going to have to go try something. I know it's only advertised. It's advertised as a dual band right here on top. So all I can guarantee you right now is 2 meters and 70 centimeters. This is KA0IEF. Yeah, I've got one too, and it's got like a secret tri-bander function for 1.2 meters. It doesn't do a lot of power. I think it's like a watt and a half or something, but if memory serves, that's thinking of the right radio. The 7900 will do 1.2 meters as well. That's a nice radio. Like Al said, it's dual band, at full power, but single receive, but very nice radio. And got one, and it's a good one, and I'll go back to listening. K0ECW.
Thank you for the further input, Eric. And Al, any further comments?
At the moment, no. I'm going to go do some research on operation with this radio. I've already pulled some Google results up, so I'm going to be busy here. I'm going to be listening to. This is KA0IEF.
All right, thanks a lot, Al, and you might let us know your findings at the 73 round. All right, Eric was going to sit back for a little bit, and this is the Sunday Evening New Ham Net. We're looking for more check-ins. Please check in with your call sign and your name. Alright, that station trying to check in, I copied as Kilo Delta Zero Victor Quebec question mark. I could not copy the last letter. I believe it was Jim. Jim, if that's you, you are a little broken into the repeater. Go ahead.
Roger, that's Echo for the last character. This is Jim. I'm out on I-80, about 35 miles west of the 380 interchange from my route to 51.
Roger that. Well, that would put you a little bit southwest of me, and I actually have you better on input than on the repeater. And for the stations that didn't copy it on the output of the repeater, Jim is approximately 35 miles west of 380, and he is on Interstate 80. Jim, we'll come back to you as you get closer, hopefully. Well, Jim, I'll turn it back to you and see which way you're headed there, and then we'll get you in just a minute when conditions are better. Is that acceptable? Okay, nothing heard from Jim. He must be in a bad location for radio at the moment. Alright, let's take another check-in and we'll come back to Jim, KD0VQE. We will come back to Jim in a minute. Let's take a few more check-ins.
W8KSC, Tim.
Alright, got you checked in, Tim. Anyone else?
KE0ERY, John in Robin.
Got you checked in, John. Please stand by while we go over to Tim, W8KSC. Good evening, Tim.
Hello, Michael. For our friend KE0GIE, who was talking about the FT2900, there's also the 1900, and the primary difference is one is 25 watts and one is 55 watts and one is 75 watts output. And there's of course a price difference between those. I'm wondering if he really needs the 75 watts, and I don't know. That's one of the questions. And I'm going to let the repeater reset for a second. And then I'm also one of these people who have the 7900, who apparently we may have some special function I was unaware of. So thanks, everybody. I appreciate the question. I'm going to look it up on the internet as well. That's all, Michael. Thank you very much. W8KSC.
And thank you, Tim. And perhaps either you or Al will have more information on the 7900. Alright, breaking with Tim, W8KSC. Going down to John, KE0ERY. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Mike. Just a general question for some of you guys. We've been talking about the 2900 2900 versus the 7900 or 8800. How much value do you guys, do folks see in the dual band versus just the 2-meter band? I've been bouncing around looking at buying one of these, just like Alan is, but not sure if both 70 centimeter and 2 meter are worth it versus just a 2-meter radio. What's people's opinions on that? Over.
Well, there are UHF repeaters around, but I will open the net for any comments. Please come now, and you may go direct to John.
Okay, I'll take it. KA0IES. John, sometimes if you are around and there's a lot of activity on 2 meters, it's not a bad idea to have the UHF capability if you're doing public service, because that way the net control can have more available channels, and if you have the capability of going up to UHF, you make yourself more valuable to net control. Also, you will occasionally find that a UHF handheld will get in and out of a building easier than a VHF handheld radio does, just due to the fact that the windows are larger. If it's a steel building, the signal can sneak in and out through the windows better than a 2-meter signal can. The additional price between the single band and the dual band radio, I think it really is worth it. I would not at this time go back to a single band radio for 2 meters and 70 centimeters in my mobile vehicles or even here at the house. This is KA0IES.
CVARC.
Go ahead, Bryce.
Yeah, I would concur with everything that IES just mentioned. I do have a couple of single band radios, but those are mainly at home. From a handheld or a mobile device perspective, definitely having a dual band radio, I think is worth the slight cost increase, and gives you that extra capability, and is certainly worth it. Okay, before I SPY, back to net control.
All right, thank you, Bryce, and thank you, Al. KA0ERY, go ahead.
Just want to say thank you for the thoughts offered by Bryce and Al. I appreciate that. That's really useful information. Also want to add, I was playing around with my friend KD0ION doing some simplex work with my little HT, and found I could reach his mast out on Highway 13 about 7 miles or so with just my little 4 watts, which was kind of fun. Over.
It's amazing what 4 or 5 watts will do for you if you have a good antenna and a good location. And well, Mike, congratulations on that, and wish you best of luck on your choice of radios there. Back to you, John.
That's all I've got for now. I appreciate it. This is KE0ERY, clear, back to net.
All right, John, thanks for checking in. And this is the Sunday Evening New Hamnet. My call sign is KD0WTE. And I'm Net Control, and we are in need of some more check-ins. Please check in with your call sign and your name.
KD0ION, Randy.
I have you checked in, Randy. And is there anyone else? nothing heard. Well, Randy, were your ears burning?
Yes, they were, and good evening, everyone on the net. I just happened to turn on the radio, and I heard the discussion about the UHF repeater, and I was chatting with John a little bit earlier in the week about, getting a dual band or a single band, and it sounds like a dual band would be a good decision at this point.
I agree with you, Randy. Though I don't have one myself, I have two separate radios. One is for UHF and one is for VHF. And, well, that's not all bad, but it's not as compact as a dual band.
Yeah, me too. I just have a bunch of single bands, and wanted to mention, this is a new ham net. I've had my license for, I think, pushing 5 years now, but I still consider myself a new ham. I'm out playing with an HF antenna right now, trying to get that up. So as we speak, I'm trying to dust off my HF rig and get that going as well.
Well, that's neat. Tell us what kind of antenna you're putting up.
I'm sorry, I accidentally switched channels. All I heard was what kind of antenna am I putting up, and I'm putting up a off-center fed dipole, and I got that idea from Tim, W8KSC, and right now it's kind of low. I think in the next couple days I'm going to try to raise my mast up a bit to get it up about 30-35 feet, and then have the legs dropping down to about 10 feet.
Oh, very good. That strikes my memory because when I first got licensed and upgraded to General, I actually talked with Tim on HF, but what is funny is I cannot contact him simplex on VHF, so that was kind of a real treat to get up into Anamosa on HF. I think it was 40 meters even, but yeah, we were able to make the contact on HF, so his antenna definitely was working.
Yeah, it's funny, the simple pleasures of making a simplex contact, like John said earlier, is kind of nice that we could hit each other's simplex being so far away on low watts. This is KD0ION. I'll be clear, back to net.
All right, Randy, well, we hope that you can stick around for the 73 round around 6:45. Okay, this is the Sunday Evening New Hamnet, and we are looking for some more check-ins.
KD0VQE, Jim, second attempt, over.
Well, you got it this time, Jim. No problem. Just a little bit of noise, but full copy. Go ahead.
Roger that, Michael. Good evening to the new Hamnet. I'm still out on the highway, just past the factory outside, so a lot closer. This is where I usually start picking up the repeater. So it's kind of pleased to get it about 15 miles to the west and be a part of this. I use an FT7800 in my mobile rig, which is what I'm talking on now. And I find that to be sufficient for my needs for what I do for both 2 meter and 70 centimeter. That being said, to the gentleman earlier and those who have been contributing to the conversation, I think it all just depends on a person's particular interests, their needs. I travel, so I like having both bands available. When I go to the East Coast, I find 2 meter really congested, and UHF is a lot more available over.
Good point. And also, the 7800, is that how many watts does that put out?
That has 50 watts on VHF, 40 I believe on UHF, and on VHF it's graduated from 5 watts, 10, 5, 40, and then 50. I'm doing 50 right now, but I want to get closer and we'll start.
All right, Jim. Well, we heard most of that, but you were cutting out again a little bit. You must have went down a hill. But thank you for your input, and please do try and jump in again. I'm going to turn it back to you so you can make an attempt at clearing back to net control. Go ahead, Jim.
I'll go ahead and clear that.
All right, thanks for your patience, Jim. We're going to break with KD0VQE, and we're in need of some more check-ins on the new hamnet.
K0TSK Tim.
Got you checked in, Tim. Anyone else? All right, Tim, you have the floor. Go ahead. Long time no hear.
Well, normally I'm working tonight, but my days off, or I guess my schedule got changed over the weekend, so I guess I'm off on Sundays for the time being. But I've been out messing with my radios in the car. I'm actually going through my vehicle repeater, UHF handheld to the vehicle repeater, and out on 50 watts on VHF. And I don't have any service monitors, so I have to tune everything by ear, so I'm kind of curious how the audio sounds. K0TSK.
Well, the audio level sounds pretty good, and I can hear you on input fine. Sounds pretty natural to me.
Okay. Well, I guess I think I'll leave well enough alone. Adjust it the other way. I gotta, from the repeater to my handheld, I gotta do by ear. I can't do that. Or I can't have you do that from where you're at. That won't work. But I appreciate the audio check and glad to be able to check in. And I'll turn it back to the net. This is K0TSK. We'll be clear.
All right, Tim. Well, thanks for checking in this evening, and hopefully you get that all dialed in so it's perfect. All right, this is the Sunday Evening New Hamnet, and we're going to need a couple more check-ins before the 73 round.
This is KE0GFL, Big Brian signing in.
Alright, I copied that call sign is Kilo Echo 0 Golf Sierra Lima. Is that correct?
That is correct. Over.
Alright, well thank you very much for checking in this evening. And could we have your name?
Right, sorry. This is my first time on. My name is Jake.
Welcome aboard, Jake, and don't worry, we have a good group going here. Nobody bites. And you have the floor. Go ahead.
Well, I just have the new belt thing, handset I got from him. Just got a new antenna end, just about a foot long or more. I'd say about 16 inches. And I hopefully want to install one antenna on my car too.
Very good. Unlike some of the Chinese HTs that you get, your audio seems to be about equal with the rest of the folks here on the radio, so that's a good thing. And so you must have set up your radio correctly, or you have a very powerful speaking voice. But yes, thank you very much. Oops. I let up on the key. Anyway, thank you very much for checking in this evening, and welcome aboard. Um, how long did it take for you to get your call sign after you were licensed?
I would say about 13 days. But I'm also really close to the Hiawatha repeater. I'm about, say, a mile or two from there, I believe. I don't know exactly where it is geolocationally, but I am about half a mile from the Hiawatha Town Hall. Over.
Well, the other hams can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that this repeater is located near. Well, actually, the receive site is different. I think the transmit site is on Blair's Ferry Road, near the KCRG tower for TV broadcast. I may be a little bit off, and somebody else can correct me if they know. We'll take a break there. This is KT0WTE for ID, and back over to you, Jake.
All right, this is KE0GFL. Nothing much over here. I'm actually meeting Iowa. One of the five people. All this is going all right. We had a nice day today.
Was there a station trying to break in with a comment? Okay, nothing heard. Well, Jake, glad to meet you here on the radio. And is there a chance that you are near some 60 hertz power, like wall outlet power, maybe a power supply or something like that? Because every once in a while we are getting a 60 hertz tone or hum on your audio feed. I don't know if that's from the radio itself or if it's retransmitting some electrical noise that you're nearby, maybe even a fluorescent light bulb or something. Go ahead, Jake.
Alright, this is Jake. Yeah, I think my power supply, I was about 2 feet from it, near my computer, so I'll just move away from it. Over.
Sounds crystal clear now. I think he solved the problem.
I just walked outside onto my balcony.
Oh, so you have a height advantage in addition to being close to the repeater. Well, that's a very good scenario there.
It is. Over.
I know some hams that would be jealous of you, Jake. Alright, well, I will turn it back to you, and if you don't have any further comments, we will take a couple more check-ins before our 73 round. Go ahead, Jake.
Oh, we can switch places if they want. I got a nice one-bedroom house. I can move into their place.
Oh, if I was feeling a bit jokesterish, I would actually ask if there's any takers on that offer. Anyway, Jake, I'll turn it back to you so you can clear with net control, and then we'll take a couple more check-ins. Go ahead.
How do I clear with net control?
You just simply say your call sign and then back to net.
This is KE0GFL. Oh, back to net. Over.
Fine job, Jake. And in just a little bit, we'll have a 73 round. We'll go back through the list of check-ins that I have on the paper this evening. Alright, this is the Sunday Evening New Ham Net, and my call sign is KD0WTE. And my name is Michael. I'm Net Control for the Sunday Evening New Ham Net. And we're in need of a few more check-ins. Please check in with your call sign and name.
KD0 GIV, Peter in Cedar Rapids.
Got you checked in, Peter. Anyone else?
KD0EH, Rod, Cedar Rapids.
Alright, have you checked in, Rod? I also copied a weak carrier that barely brought up the repeater in between GIV and Rod 80EH. I did not copy that station. If the station can increase power or change location, please try and check in once again. Okay, nothing heard from that station that tried to check in. We'll go over to Peter, KD0GIV. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm not a new ham, but just wanted to say hi to all the new hams. I'm mobile with a Chinese Lexington radio, doing about 10 watts on a mag mount. But I was on my way to Walmart and just wanted to say hi. KD0GIV.
Well, thanks for stopping in and saying hi, Peter. And it's taking some getting used to hear you checking in from Cedar Rapids when I'm used to you coming in from Vinton. So that's very interesting. All right, well, have a good evening, Peter, and we will call you on the 73 round. We'll go over to AD0EH. I think that's Alpha Delta. Rod, correct me if that's wrong. Go ahead.
Roger. Alpha Delta, Zero Echo Hotel, and I enjoyed listening in on the discussions. Unfortunately, it's been intermittent for me, time sharing.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Have you had any chances to play on HF? I believe you upgraded to Extra about a year ago, I think. Wasn't it, Rod?
Well, actually, I upgraded from a 40-year-old novice to all three at one test session, and so now that I've got the license out of the way, I'm eagerly listening to all the
Well, very good on your upgrade. And if I remember right, you had just gotten an HF radio. And did you get that all dialed in and programmed?
Negative. I not purchased an HF radio, but I was inquiring about programming for the HTs, and so I've gotten some good leads on that. Over.
Oh, roger that. The HTs that you were inquiring about for programming were the little Bofang ones?
Yes, yeah, and I had them programmed, but I accidentally zeroized one, and so I was wanting to get set up so that I can do the programming if I accidentally.
Oops. Rod, I don't know if you're still transmitting or not, but all of a sudden you dropped out of the repeater.
Yeah, it may my radio is cutting out. We'll have to play it by ear and see how that goes. Over.
Okay, well, no problems there. We will be patient, and we all have radio issues from time to time. I just had one last weekend here. Yeah, back to you, Rod.
Okay, well, I'll just sit back and listen to the rest of the conversation. I'll check in on the 73 round. Over.
All right, Rod. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start that right now. This is KD0WTE with the Sunday Evening New Hamnet, and we're going to go back through the list of check-ins of this evening. Starting off on the list is Kilo Echo Zero Golf India Echo Alan. 73 round, Alan. Any further comments?
No, KE0GIE, clear.
Okay. Well, on behalf of the net, we wish you 73 and thanks for checking in. N0CKR, Tim, 73 round.
Yeah, 0.
Uh-oh. I apologize if I'm doubling at this time with you, Tim. Tim, I have to inform you that we only got about 3 words out of your last transmission. The signal to noise ratio is too low, and you dropped out of the repeater almost the entire transmission. Unfortunately, go ahead. Well, it sounds like Tim's batteries may have gone out if he's using an HT. So 73 to you, Tim. Sorry about the inconvenience there. We're going to break with N0CKR, Tim, and move over to KA0IESL. Any further comments on the 7900?
This is KA0IES. Yeah, my research, although it was fairly quick, none of it showed any transmit capability on 222 for the 7900. I did a research on Yaesu for 222, and the only thing that is really pointed at is an old all-mode rig with the right module in it, or the VX6, VX7, and VX8 series radios all have some sort of 222 megahertz transmit and receive capability built into them. So as of right now, I don't see anything on the 7900. I'm going to keep looking, but the reason that this band 222 is so rare is that we are the only region in the world that uses that for amateur radio. So with that, this is KA0IES back to net.
Thank you for that information, Al. And 73 to you. K0ECW, 73 round.
Yeah, this is K0ECW. How copy?
Perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, I got my 7900 out of the garage, and Al, you can stop looking. I'm embarrassed to say that the 7900 will not transmit on 220. I was thinking of the VX6, which I also have. Apparently I have too many Yaesu radios, and the VX6 has the 220 transmit. is still a great radio. So that's all I've got. 73. K0 ECW back to net.
Thank you for the correction, Eric. And 73 to you. Okay, KD0VQE. Jim, are you in range of the repeater?
KD0VQE, yeah, I'm coming up 380 now. I switched back down to 5 so I should be okay at this point. The only comment I did want to make in closing out tonight, whether it's 7800, 7900, a BX series or whatever, these radios receive more than what they transmit, so it's very possible, and I haven't looked it up, that the 7900 receives on 222 or monitors, if you will. So that's something to keep in mind, is all these radios typically receive on a wider frequency range than they do on a transmit range.
Good point, Jim. And yeah, that's true. Most of these little radios, the mobile rigs and dual banders, do have a wider frequency band than they will transmit on. Very good point. Jim, I'll turn it back to you. I can't remember if you cleared, so I apologize. Go ahead.
Roger that, Michael. Again, thanks for the evening. Good conversation. This is KD0, Victor Quebec Echo, clearing the net, back to net control.
Thank you very much, Jim. And let's see, KB4SBY, Bryce, 73 round. Okay, nothing heard there. W8KSC. Tim, go ahead.
Hello, Michael. My research pretty much mimicked what Al did, although I did find a YouTube video on an unauthorized mod that will give you wider transmit range, but it really didn't say if it would cover 1.5 meters, or 1.25 meters, excuse me. But anyways, thanks for taking that. I guess I got it next week. Talk to you later. W8KSC.
That's affirmative, Tim, and thank you for taking next weekend. 73 to you. Have a good week. KE0ERY. John. 73 round. Any further comments?
No comments really. Good net tonight. Some good useful information. I appreciate that. So just 73s to everyone, and this is KE0ERY, clear and back to net.
Thank you, John. 73. KD0ION. Randy.
Nothing much to add. Thanks for running the net tonight, and as always, it's fun to play around with antennas and experiment with new things, and looks like the weather's going to hold out a few more days, so I'd encourage everyone to do their antenna work when it's nice out. This is KD0ION. I'll be clear and back to the net.
Thank you, Randy. Enjoy the warm weather. Let's try Tim, K0TSK. Tim, are you still around? 73 round.
Yes, I am. And I'm using another new piece of equipment. It's a wireless shoulder mic. And still going through the same setup as before, but added another wireless link into it. This is K0TSK.
Well, you're still sounding good on the repeater and on the output, and getting quite elaborate there, Tim. Congratulations on that. All right, 73 to you, and let's see. Next on the list was Jake, KE0GSL.
This is KE0TFL. I'm clear and ready to go. 73.
All right, 73, Jake, and As a note, Tim, W8KSC, will be taking next weekend's new Hamnet, so feel free to check in once again anytime you please. KD0 GIV Peter, 73 round. Alright, let's try 80EH, Rod.
This is 80EH. Just checking in on the 73 round. Wish everybody have a good week, and back to Nat.
Thank you also for checking in, Rod, and 73. Have a great week. Alright, we had 13 check-ins this evening, or 14 participants, which includes net control. I want to thank everyone who checked in this evening and made it a great net. And I would also like to thank the Cedar Valley Amateur Radio Club for the use of their repeater. This is Kilo Delta Zero Whiskey Tango Echo, turning the repeater back to regular operations. Good night and 73.